punny dad.
My Very Punny Dad. Written by Ryan Milligan. Illustrated by Justin Castaneda. Pun. Noun. A joke using the different possible meanings of a word or the fact that there are words which sound alike but have different meanings. Verb. Make a joke using the different possible meanings of a word. My clock's alarm rang loud and clear. The sun began to rise. As I sat up, my dad walked in, a twinkle in his eyes. "I barely slept," he said mid-yawn. "Was up all night, you see. I wondered where the sun had gone, but then it dawned on me. You see, my dad is quite a guy. I sure do love him tons. There's just one thing you need to know. He tells a lot of puns." I then got dressed to go to school and came downstairs to eat. "So quiet when you walk," he said, "with sneakers on your feet." I poured a bowl of cereal and sat down in my chair. I noticed something very strange and couldn't help but stare. My dad was standing with his plate, but only on one leg. "A balanced breakfast," he explained while chewing on his eggs. I forced a laugh, then made a sigh, but had no time to fuss. I grabbed my books and hugged him tight, then ran out to the bus. Though even when I started class, the puns just wouldn't stop. When I took out my science book, a note poked out the top. My dad had doodled Earth and Mars, and that was not the worst. He wrote, "Let's go to outer space, but we must plan it first." It did not end when lunchtime came, as there were even more. A sticker on my apple read, "You're awesome to the core." When I got home, my mom was there. "How was your day?" she asked. Before I spoke, my dad rushed in, unkempt and breathing fast. "A truck of grapes was much to blame for just how late I am. They all spilled out onto the road and caused a traffic jam." My mom just smirked and rolled her eyes, then pinched him on the cheek. He sat at his computer desk when I let out a shriek. A spider crawling on his screen. My dad thought long and hard. "Your website's down," he calmly said, then brought it to the yard. Just how did he come up with these? Was everything a pun? I could not dwell, since it was time to get my homework done. I asked my dad for help with math. His face lit up with glee. "Of course," he said, 10 fingers spread. "Can always count on me." I did some problems carefully and solved them in one try. He grabbed his shades and put them on, and all I asked was, "Why?" "Because you're bright," he proudly claimed, as I let out a groan. I thanked him for his help, but said, "I'll do this on my own." For dinner there was mushroom soup. He danced while in his seat. "I've always been," he carried on, "a fun guy when I eat." My little sister laughed it up and hugged her teddy bear. "Your friend is stuffed," he said to her. More laughs, but I just glared. With dinner done, I found the couch. Our dog lay by my toes. My favorite show was coming on, but then the TV froze. I looked around and there he was, remote control in hand. The dog pressed pause, he slyly claimed. I had to take a stand. Please, no more puns, I kindly asked. You think that they're amusing. I love you, Dad, I really do, but some are just confusing. I thought that he might get upset or maybe walk away, but then, instead, he rubbed my head and simply said, Okay. The evening passed. I cleaned and read. We played a family game. No punchlines, jokes, or plays on words. It wasn't quite the same. I brushed my teeth, then hopped in bed, and as I wondered more, I thought of other silly puns that he had told before. Like every time he shredded cheese and said, I'm doing great! Or when he stared at orange juice, it read, From concentrate. It's in my genes, he liked to say when asked about his style. Okay, I thought, I must admit they sometimes make me smile. He tucked me in and kissed my head. As he began to leave, I shouted out a big surprise that he would not believe. Hey, Dad, I called. I bet you know. And then let out a roar. A dinosaur that falls asleep becomes a dino snore. He stopped and slowly turned around, amazed as one can be. That clever pun that he just heard had come from, that's right, me. He finally grinned and said, Well done. I took a tiny bow. You need some sleep, so count some sheep. It's past your bedtime now. We shared I love yous and a laugh before he said good night. I saw that twinkle in his eye as he turned out the light.
Thank you for coming to the story room. If you like this story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.